World Cup Daily here. Listen, this is a World Cup Daily special. I've just been watching the game here at Mo's house, and Mo, I'll tell you what, I don't know about you, I just can't believe what I've just seen. I mean, that was a historic moment. I mean, Germany 7, Brazil 1. Brazil, World Cup in their own backyard, humiliated. I mean, I predicted before the game that Brazil were going to win this. I just can't believe what I've just seen. That's the worst performance I've ever seen from a top team. It's the semi-final, for Pete's sake. What happened?
We're shell-shocked. We're absolutely shell-shocked. You know, like, me and Robbie had a chat in the morning and we were saying who was going to win the game. I said, Germany, I thought we'd go into extra time. Robbie said it was Brazil, but none of us expected this. This is just unbelievable. You know, it doesn't matter if Neymar was playing or not. He wouldn't have done anything about what Germany did today. They were spot on, and Brazilians were just deficient in every area.
They were spot on, Mo. But I mean, 7-1. I mean, this is Brazil we're talking about.
This is a combination
in their own backyard, humiliated like this. I mean, they just capitulated. I think they conceded about 4 goals in about 10 minutes or so.
6 minutes. 6 minutes.
This is disgraceful.
This is a combination of a brilliant German performance and a terrible Brazilian performance. You know, and yet equal credit has to go to Germany as criticism to Brazil because they did not show up today.
I actually feel depressed right now for, you know, I'm not Brazilian, but I feel depressed for Brazilian football. We've grown up, and Brazil has been that team that we've known for flair, that we've known for samba football, for style. And not only were they humiliated right throughout the World Cup, they haven't really played that way. They've played a really European style. It's been a team that's full of holding midfielders. There's no flair in the midfield. Fred up front, absolutely appalling, which we've been saying right throughout the tournament. But even with that, and I know Neymar's missing, and I know Thiago Silva's missing, but some of the defending today, and it was just awful. I mean, was it the pressure? They just fell apart. What's going on?
I don't think it was the pressure. I think the game could have been salvaged at 1-0 down, but they just lost all focus. They dropped their heads and they just did not say to themselves, there wasn't that one player that said, all right, 1-0 down, doesn't matter, plenty of time, 5 good minutes and let's push on. They just capitulated. And, you know, I guess tactically they were poor. They just didn't have any threat. They had no one on that pitch, for me personally, that I think is clinical. And you need to be clinical against the quality of Germany. They just didn't have that.
Can they come back from this? Can Brazil football recover from this? Because it's going to, even if they do, it's going to take a long time. Because this is in their backyard. Yeah. They'll have to imagine. You know what I feel sorry for right now? Those Brazilian fans.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen all the videos. We've had Marcus has been over there and he's been filming, and the Brazilian fans have been right behind. You know, you see them even the games they're not playing in. They're there with their yellow tops on. Now they're just, how flat must they feel?
Listen, cast your mind back to when England lost 4-1 to Germany in the World Cup last time round. There was like an inquest in England. We were saying, oh, it's unacceptable, blah, blah. So just imagine what's going on
7.
in Brazil. Apparently,
and it could have been worse.
Apparently there's already riots starting in Brazil. You know, it's bad news for the country, and I do feel for the country. I feel for the fans, but the Brazilian players themselves, you know, you didn't stand up. You weren't counted today.
I mean, this is really, you could say at the moment, I wouldn't say, maybe the death of Brazilian football is too much of a harsh word, but I mean, they're going to have to tear it up and start all over again. I mean, players like Fred, Joe, Hulk, rubbish, really.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I asked Robbie the question during the game, and you answer it as well, whoever's watching. Out of that Brazilian starting lineup today, who would you put in the Arsenal team, or whoever you support? Out of all the Brazilian players in the starting lineup today, who would you swap for players in your team? And Robbie and I came up with maybe Gustavo, for example, or Fernandinho, would say in central defensive midfield, maybe Julio Cesar. That's it.
Listen, I actually feel gutted right now. I'm not a Brazilian fan, but I feel gutted right now for the World Cup, for Brazil, for their fans. It's just, I don't know. I think it's a sad moment for Brazilian football, which we've all grown up, we've all loved. Brazil's always been like everybody's sort of second team, and to see the way in which they just got totally humiliated, capitulated. I mean, it's depressing. I mean, I remember Arsenal getting beaten 5-1 by Liverpool and 6-0 by Chelsea.
But listen,
But this is the semi-final
yeah.
of the World Cup with the whole world watching. And for Brazilians, one of the proudest things for Brazilians is football.
But listen,
And
all good things come to an end.
Mm.
All good things come to an end. And this is the end of Brazilian football for a while. It depends how they bounce back. But do they really have scores and scores of young, good players to come in and revolutionise Brazilian football? I don't think so. I think there's a rebuilding phase that's going to have to occur. They're going to have to be honest with themselves now and say, look, maybe our squad isn't as good as we thought it was. Simple as that.
Listen, let me just run through a couple of comments there. HBK Gunner says, Thiago Silva and Neymar do not excuse 7-1, and I agree with what he's saying there.
100% right.
Talking Burrito says, Ramirez was the best player for Brazil. What about you two? Listen, I can't even... I think Bernardi tried,
that conversation,
a lot of players there didn't even make an effort.
Yeah, but that conversation about best player in the Brazil shirt tonight is relative. And, we're saying they might be the best out of the bunch, but it was a very, very bad bunch. None of them were good enough today. None of them.
Arsenal guy says, I remember the Liverpool game when I was watching this.
Yeah.
We were a couple of Liverpool fans watching this game with us. They kept reminding us of that. Yeah. I'll tell you, it was terrible. Terrible. You know what?
But it was worse. That's what we were saying. It's worse than what happened Arsenal-Liverpool. Because, that was 4-0 in the first half. This was 4-0 in 6 minutes. And this is the Brazil national team at home. At least we were away. This was shocking. Absolutely shocking.
Goon says he always supports the team with the most Arsenal players in, even if they were playing against England. A lot of Arsenal players. Shame that Ozil missed that chance right at the end.
Listen, Ozil...
Arsene Wenger, sign up Khedira. He looked special tonight as well.
Ozil did it out the kindness of his heart. Ozil's a nice guy. But
all the Chelsea players and Chelsea connections that playing for Brazil, do you think that had something to do with it?
I think people know how I feel about Chelsea, but we have to give Schürrle credit. He came on and he did really, really well. But the Brazilian Chelsea lot were shocking, and I include David Luiz in that. Even though he's at PSG now, they really didn't show up. But to be fair, let's not state Chelsea. This is about Brazil's deficiencies. The whole team.
Got to have a dig at Chelsea.
Yeah, true.
Machiavelli WD says Uber Deutschland. You can see who he was supporting. Clarence ONG, he's going to remind me now. He said, "How wrong you were, Robbie. Couldn't stand how you were sucking up to Brazil all the time." I just thought that Brazil. I thought they're playing at home. I thought they'd do it. I thought they'd get over the line. I know it wasn't the best Brazil team, but I thought that I can't believe what I've seen.
But listen, throughout this tournament, people have been saying we've seen good players, good goals, but not good teams. And I think that's definitely true of Brazil. It's also true of Argentina. It's also true of Holland. Germany were the closest out of the 4 semi-finalists to being a good team. And today they've proved that. Whether it's Argentina or Holland, they'll be watching that game. They'll be fearful of Germany now. Because Germany have peaked at the right time. And they always say in tournaments, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And the group stage Germany weren't on fire. But they have peaked now, and they will be running into that final full of confidence. I think that German name is already being inscribed on that trophy. And
with all the Arsenal players in there now, we're hoping that Germany, let's hope Germany can go and do it. Big final for the Arsenal players of Ozil, Mertesacker, Podolski. And hopefully they can lift the trophy and come back full of confidence. But I can't believe what's happened. Listen, leave your comments below. Tell us what you thought of the game. Tell us. I mean, I think it's a historic day.
This will be one of
those
ones.
This is a historic day. This is a day that you won't forget in football.
And this is one of them ones where people will say, "Oh, where were you when Germany beat Brazil 7-1?" And you'll remember.
Yeah.
It's one of them ones. It's a big. It's a huge result. It's going to be
massive.
One of the World Cup memories that last for a long, long time.
Well, listen. This is a World Cup Daily special. We had to say something about it. Sorry about the dodgy connection. It's all his fault. He lives in a mansion, you see. They have to divert the connections to get to his house.
but just one last word. Alexis Sanchez. During the game, apparently it's being confirmed by Arsene Wenger himself that we've signed Sanchez.
Careful where you're confirming these rumours. So I think the Alexis Sanchez thing
is looking positive.
It's looking good. It's looking good. It's looking better than Brazil right now.
Me and
Put it that way. I'm glad we haven't signed no Brazilian players.
Yeah, exactly. Robbie and I were like, we saw a tweet that said that Arsene Wenger had confirmed it, and us two were over the moon that we're going to watch Sanchez next year at the Emirates for a whole season. And Ozil playing with Walcott and Sanchez today's just, you know,
it's going to be amazing.
Yeah,
it's going to be amazing. Don't forget to leave your comments below. Subscribe here to Arsenal Fan TV. We'll be back in the morning with World Cup Daily, but this was a World Cup Daily special. We're still in disbelief here. Germany 7, Brazil 1.